Scientists from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, along with their international collaborators, have demonstrated a new method for mapping the location and size of trees growing outside of forests. The big surprise? They discovered an unexpectedly high number of trees in semi-arid regions, often thought of as too dry to support plant life. Mapping non-forest trees with this level of precision was previously impossible across broad areas. This technology represents a breakthrough for mapping and measuring these trees. Using powerful supercomputers and machine learning algorithms, the team mapped the crown size, which is the width of a tree when viewed from above, of more than 1.8 billion trees across an area of more than 500,000 square miles. This study is the first in a series whose goal is not only to map non-forest trees across a wide area, but also to calculate how much carbon they store. Vital information for understanding the carbon cycle and how it's changing over time.
Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts. Well, this is my telescope right here.
Scott Roberts, the talking telescope.
This is Scott Roberts, the talking telescope from from Explorer Alliance presents the OpenGOTO community. So how is everybody? We're still. I'm certainly punch drunk after last night. I was up working here till about 2 a.m. After one of the star parties, it's hard for me to kind of wind down. And then I hadn't had dinner yet, so I went and had dinner, and then still had to wind down till it was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning before I could actually get to sleep. But anyhow, it was a great time yesterday. Lots of conversation about our speakers that were there, including Deepti from Nepal. It was great to have someone give their perspective from a developing country like Nepal. But her passion and inspiration, I think, excited a lot of people around the world that were watching the program. And I was showing the ED102 that I have over here, and I promised that we would work with Deepti and her astronomy club for giving them some access to a telescope, and so they want to photograph. Their first things they want to photograph would be the moon and Jupiter, but I assume that they're going to move on to wanting to do some science. And that's where Jerry Hubbell's going to be involved here, so that they can do some asteroid work or perhaps some photometry. So I'm excited about that. We're pretty much, Jerry, I think we're pretty much ready to take it out at this point and
yes, yep.
and test it on the sky again. So
we've done a couple things. We configured everything, and then we fixed whatever problems we had over the last week, and then we tested it again to measure the power requirements. I think Alex,
Yep.
It looks like with everything running with the camera cooler and everything, it came out to about 1.8 amps total for the system, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, the NUC takes a lot of power. The camera cooler would take a lot of power, and the PMC8 is somewhat miserly with power. I have ways to tune that to adjust the power requirements for the PMC8, but overall, I think 1.8 amps is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, you can see kind of where we have the PMC8 here, some of the cable management, the NUC computers here. I got a 20 volt lithium battery right here, and then I got that LiFePo 20 amp 12 volt battery that will hang from the center there. So that's one thing that we have. At the very bottom of the tripod, you can see a couple of barbells, but we have wheels on the bottom here that's going to make it easy to, roll the telescope around and, to get it in and out, because, speed of setup is important to us when we're doing this kind of work. And then I've got, I've mentioned it before, but we got a QHY 163 color camera here. I got a QHY 5 Mark II auto guider up here. We have a 8x50 right angle polar illuminated finder. I've got a straight through 8x50 finder right here. We have a zero power flat field adapter here, an Optec electric focuser, and I think that's the whole system. This guy up here is controlling the electric focuser. Doesn't draw very much power at all. So, I'm pretty pleased with the setup so far. And
looks nice, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun to get it fired up and do some test shots on the sky. So I'm thinking, not tonight because I'm tired, but maybe tomorrow night, if we have clear skies. I'm not sure. Tyler, what's our weather looking like?
First off, if you want to get into astrophotography, there's no such thing as tired. There's no such thing as tired. That's why they make coffee,
Red
Bulls. I mean,
5-hour energy drinks.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to deal with it as far as the sleepiness.
Yeah.
Weather-wise, tonight's supposed to be clear. Tomorrow, you're in luck. It's going to be clear.
Okay, so we'll try it tomorrow.
You got to get out every clear night.
What's that?
Every
You got to
clear
get
night.
out every clear night. That's what I did.
Every clear night, no matter what.
Every clear night.
That's right. For 3 years, I did that.
Because next week's supposed to be
Yeah, but how
crap.
old were you then? 20?
It was 10. Yeah, I was 20. 10 years ago, I was 20.
Don't make excuses because of age. You got wheels on yours. I don't want to hear. I have to carry mine out.
Look at what those 10 years did to you.
I have to.
I know.
Yep. Nah, you're still in good shape, Jerry. You're still in good shape. So you were doing a longer imaging run last night. How did that turn out, Jerry?
Yeah, I my plan was to do 4 hours on the exoplanet that we had observed almost exactly a year ago, and this is the one that we verified that it was an exoplanet, not just a binary star. That's how we screen the objects that TESS observes. TESS provides data that there's something that looks like an exoplanet, but you don't know for sure because the resolution of the image is very small. The problem is the pixel scale is such that you got several stars grouped together, and it just knows that there was a dip in the light. It doesn't know the shape of the curve or anything like that to be able to determine if it's an eclipsing binary star or not. So the ground crew basically goes through the screening process to look at the shape of the transit curve to determine if it's actually an exoplanet or a eclipsing binary. The curves are very different. An eclipsing binary curve looks like a V-shaped curve, all right?
Okay.
Or an exoplanet is a flat bottom. It's got the ingress and then it goes flat for a while and it does egress because the diameter of the planet is much smaller. When you have an eclipsing binary star, the stars are somewhat equal. They could be close to each other in size, or maybe one's a little bit smaller, but it basically, when one passes in front of the other, it's a V-shape, a V-shaped curve like that. And so it's very easy to determine, and it's usually a much deeper eclipse in terms of magnitude also. So that's the first thing you look at when you're looking at. So we were able to do that a year ago, and then this one, I wanted to observe it again for full transit because it was in our sky, and the time period was good to. But the problem is it ran into the trees on our horizon, so I didn't get to see the egress.
Oh.
I got about 40 minutes before the ingress, and then I got the ingress, and then I got about 2 hours into it, 2.5 hours almost. It was like within an hour of the egress, and I ran into the trees.
Oh man, that must have been a little frustrating.
So yeah, so I've got to wait for the next opportunity, which is in a few days.
Right. Jerry, I'll come over and I'll start hacking trees out. Let's just make it easier.
Yeah.
Just start cutting trees.
Right.
with like one of those big lumberjack axes or something. Okay.
We do have plans to move the observatory out more in the middle of the Myron's backyard, away from the trees. But that's we got to plan that move, and he wants to build a bigger roll-off roof that contains the three stations all under one roof. But I'd
Oh,
like to keep the dome. I like the dome. I mean, it keeps we don't have any dew problems at all, never, with the dome.
yeah, maybe that's the big advantage of a dome. You know, we were talking to Bob Denny last night about remote observatories, and you know, he was talking about the one of the biggest problems is our domes. You know, because they all the mechanical hardware and all those latches and things that can fail. You know, but you know, you have, I mean, Myron's right there. He lives there, right? So yeah, so you got
Yeah,
something
we've got
to do.
support and we've actually had failures on the shutter, the cable. Oh man, a couple times. I'll have to share a picture of what the cable did on the
Mhm.
on the winch. It
It's kind of
sprung loose and got all hangled up like a wire knot, that, and I had to pull all that apart and then restring the winch. You know, how you have to wind
like a
the
fishing reel. It's
oh
all
man,
it's just a
yeah, it's a mess.
nasty
It was a
nest of
mess. Yeah.
cable.
And we've actually did that once, and then we replaced the cable completely last year and got a brand
Okay.
new cable and got it all tuned up. Actually, the motor failed, and we actually had to find a motor online to fix
Hmm.
it ourselves. Technical Innovations didn't support this old dome. This dome is 20 years old,
Well,
but it works good. I mean,
yeah,
typically we don't have problems, but you got to maintain it. You absolutely have to maintain it.
yeah. And a dome is a very strong structure, you know, in adverse weather. I mean, the snow load, wind load, all those things are big advantages to them. You know,
Yes,
but
yes.
you know, maybe a little higher maintenance. So I
But it looks
noticed
so
that.
nice. It looks so nice. The observatory, with
Oh,
a classic
yeah,
dome, there's nothing better,
sure, of
And I'm
course.
used to
I
I'm
think
used to working with dome structures anyway. A nuclear station has a containment. This is a dome structure also.
right,
So I've been
right.
working in domes all my life, basically.
That's right. You sound like one of those crazy astronomers. I've been working in domes all my life.
Yeah, dag nabbit.
Hey, never. And you're not an astronomer unless. That's
Right.
right.
You're not a real astronomer unless you use a
Yeah,
dome.
yeah. I remember Bob said
I'm in
something
trouble,
about
man.
you're not an astronomer unless. What did he say? You're not an astronomer unless you code or something. I can't remember what the comment was. It's pretty funny
Oh
though.
yeah, yeah. Unless you've written a piece,
Anyways, you know,
do the
when
thing.
you're up late, lots of things get said. So we got into this harangue about freeware versus paidware, you know, too. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
you know, the even that conversation. I mean, I was reflecting on how many people would not be in the hobby had it not be for freeware. You know, even though it's got its quirks, it's got its problems, and all the rest of it. You know, when you're trying to learn how to do astrophotography or you're trying to learn how to do different things, just to see how the whole system works, even it's nice to have to try some freeware to see if
Right.
that it's going to basically work, and then if you see that that's the right thing, then maybe you do pay for more reliable stuff.
Well, the thing is with paying for it, your time is valuable until you work with stuff and find out how much work it really is. What is your end goal is to observe objects, and your time is worth money.
It's true.
And your time is more valuable than people actually realize. And I've found that out. That's why I early on purchased the telescope drive master, because I knew it would save me time and effort and not auto guiding. And I was convinced early on that my time is valuable and I don't want to mess with auto guiding. So I got
Yeah.
rid of it.
And are you unhappy you made that decision, or you think?
No, it's
And I've regretted it ever since I turned that
if you flip
telescope drive master on.
if you can flip it on and
Yeah,
it just works and it's great.
yeah. So it helps to make the equipment disappear, and we talk about that as kind of an engineering philosophy that you want the equipment to be so reliable, that something that you understand so well, okay, because you have to train yourself to be this good as well. But at some point, the equipment should disappear for you, and that then the task at hand is really what
Right.
you're doing. And that's the maximizing of an astronomer's time. Because an astronomer is supposed to be collecting data, and understanding what he's looking at or she's looking at. So
I think a substantial fraction of people though get into it because of the equipment. They like learning the equipment and messing
oh
with the
sure,
equipment and doing it manually. And I enjoy. I
I do
haven't fully
too.
automated the MSRO because I like running the observatory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that um, I think the ultimate setup for a lot of people ask me what should I have overall, and I know that they're thinking when they're first getting into astronomy, having we would call their first serious telescope. Uh, a lot of people think that there's going to be just one instrument that's going to do it all, right? They're going to have one and that's it. But really, I mean, they're tools, and so I mean, for me, that system that's my astrophotography system. I want to leave it all built up like that. I really don't want to be changing a lot of the, I don't want to be changing a lot of the setup once I have it. I want it to be all dialed in. But I also love visual observing. So, and the thing I like to observe most, galaxies. I like the faint stuff. I like to look as far away as I can. So I love to push a Dobsonian around. I don't. And I like the challenge too of finding stuff up in the sky. So I have my Wilterian star maps. I get them out. I have my red flashlight out. I like that tranquility, and I like the challenge of star hopping. Learning the constellation better. Maybe there's a galaxy or some deep sky object that I haven't looked at in a long time. One I haven't looked at in a long time that I want to revisit is Hubble's Variable Nebula, and that's coming up here pretty soon again. So
We've taken some images of that over time and actually have seen changes in our images over the last few years. Myron has been looking at that, and it's cool to see that.
it's a very strange object, that's for sure. I should probably recognize some of the people here with us today. A lot of people were on our Global Star Party. We got James the astrophotographer, Book Davies is on with us, Mike Wiesner, Richard Grace, happy zombie day all. Yes, I am a zombie today. Book Davies wants to know, is it time to go zombie hunting? Maybe. Michael Whitaker's on with us. Arieta Dergudi is on with us. I hope I'm saying that name correct. Maybe I'll get corrected one day. Bergman Scooter's on with us. Who else? Newarm Hughes. I can't read red color against dark blue color, so I'm sorry. But the person that says I hear Scott's keyboard is on. Who else? Aaron Thompson. Andrew Corkill. Who else? Shailendra Sharma. He's on. Unfortunately, Shailendra, he was supposed to be on last night, but he had an internet failure, so that was too bad.
Maybe this weekend we can get back on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're going to have the European edition of the Star Party this Friday, so that'll be great. Tyler Bowman's on, and he's here with us too. It's amazing.
You can only talk with Scott through the chat. You can't
That's
talk
right.
to him
Yeah,
in
yeah. You
voice.
can't actually talk to me in real life. You can just yell
I want-
across the hallway.
I want best of both worlds. Why can't I have both, Jerry?
Martin De Jong is on.
There's actually a question in the chat, Scott, if you look at it, from a Nakar Suthar.
Okay.
Does the PMC8 connect to my local Wi-Fi router so that my laptop does not get offline from the internet after connecting to its own Wi-Fi?
So Nicole, I've been
Right.
working, I sent some information to Nicole to be able to change the Wi-Fi configuration. It was posted, I posted it a while ago in the forum. So read his question to me again so I can fully understand what he's saying there.
Does the PMC8 connect to my local Wi-Fi router so that my laptop doesn't get offline from the internet after connecting to its own Wi-Fi.
Yes, Nicole, if you remember, there is a configuration. You do have to change the configuration of the Wi-Fi module in a PMC8, and I think I sent you the link to that maybe a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe. But it's also posted on the forum. I can look for that posting again. But basically, what you have to do is you have to follow a procedure to go reconfigure the Wi-Fi module. Now, you do this at your own risk, and I put cautions up every time I talk about it and post it. But there is a fairly easy way to start up there's actually a web server that will run on the microchip RN131 module. This is on the Exos 2 and G11 mounts.
Okay.
You can start up the web server and go to the web page and do the configuration that way. And this was demonstrated by, I can't remember who it is, who initially posted this fix. Because people have been asking that for a long time. How do you configure the Wi-Fi module to get on your wide area network or on your internet router instead of being an independent router or system that stands alone? And it's possible. And I basically directed people to the microchip user manual to do this, to ferret out the commands and do it your own risk and figure it out. And my thinking initially was that if you're smart enough to figure out the user manual in terms of the microchip manual, then you probably won't mess up the PMC8. You'll know what you're doing. That was kind of a screening tool that I had in my mind when I explained how to do it to people, that they have to go use the manual to find out how to do it. But again, there's instructions that I posted also. You still have to know what you're doing, and you do it at your own risk. If you can't recover the configuration back to the default Explore
Yeah.
Scientific configuration and have to send it back to us, we'll do it pretty much for free, but you'll have to pay for shipping both ways.
Yeah.
It's not really covered under the warranty, but we'll fix
Yeah.
it for you if we need to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can't blame somebody for trying, right? So,
Right, so I can try to find that link here.
yeah. Reading through the chats here, more and more people are doing astrophotography. Somebody's talking about Chuck always being funny and entertaining. Somebody told me today that I'm not going to mention the brand, but I think Chuck Ayub tossed a telescope off of a ladder or something.
It was pretty entertaining. I don't know what possessed him to do it, but it was just freaking hilarious. It's like, I wonder if this thing will survive. Bloop. What do you do?
No.
Yeah, dead serious. Dead serious.
Dang. I wonder what made him do that. Anyhow, someone named I Shoot Astro is on with us. That's cool. Chuck Lewis is on with us. Mike, is it Mikas or Mike? Mikas, Mikas, is watching as well. CFox 0011. I like to say 0011 because it sounds like a spy thing, you know. I always like those spy films. Anyhow, great to have you guys all on with us. Beatrice Hines is on with us too. My heart broke when I saw Chuck smashing the telescope. I'm gonna have to call him and find out what the heck
He
happened.
did say it was non-functional.
Oh, it's non-functional. Okay. The
But
optics
still.
might have been good, right? So
Still,
still
it makes your heart sink.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Libby's on with us. Hi, Libby. So Libby did a great job too. You know, I liked that she showed her Saturn artwork and her Saturn image. You know, so she likes doing astrophotography as well. I want Libby to do a thing on smartphone astrophotography. And Mike, if you're watching still, maybe I can connect you two, and together, maybe you guys could do like a smartphone astrophotography tutorial for kids, okay, who want to take pictures through a telescope. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Because with a smartphone, almost everybody has an Astrocam now, right? So, because the software is out there, some of it free. So there you go. All right, so let's jump over to you, Tyler, and find out something tried to get you. I can see. Yeah.
Sorry.
I
track the bugs. I stink. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So, what's been going on with our forums?
Other than, I don't know, Jared, should I even mention it? I don't know. Nothing really, honestly. I'm still waiting to hear back
You didn't even
from.
mention it. So, was they with a minor problem or
Well,
major problem?
we had a gentleman talk about how our IXOS 100 tripods were basically inferior to another company's. But
Yeah, we have a couple of tripods. I mean,
Yeah.
so, right?
it's yeah. So
Well, one thing I can say, I was listening to that conversation, and one thing I can say is that if I mean, just common etiquette, when I go on somebody else's forum to answer a question, if somebody asks me to do that, I certainly am not going to promote Explore Scientific equipment over other people's equipment. That's just not
correct.
That's not.
That's not what you do.
No, that's not.
So I had to kindly tell the gentleman, please don't do this.
Yeah,
Breaching terms of service.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. I got.
But I don't have a problem on any of the sites or forums that we have where somebody shows their equipment and shows it performing great and all the rest of it. I'm fine with that.
Correct.
So I know that combinations of gear and different brands of gear and stuff like that, you can build something that's really, really cool. And
we do provide a space on our forum for that. It's the subgroup I created recently called the PMC8 Applications group, where people want to talk. The goal there is to keep the PMC8 community together, but be able to talk about all their setup, all their configuration, all the things that they go through to do, like what Scott's doing with his system. Yeah. And they're free to discuss anything. They're free to discuss anything.
Scientific stuff. That's true.
But that's the only subgroup that's allowed.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to a different subject.
Okay.
I helped a gentleman that was struggling for weeks and weeks on end. I don't know if he's watching. He may be watching. But I finally got him up and running to where he can accurately use his Exos 2 PMC8. He was actually sent me an image. I asked him for more, so I'm going to stack them and take care of just do a little quick image process for him. But he had great success, and he called me at 11 o'clock at night to tell me. So
that's great. Yeah.
That put a big old smile on my face so I can go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny? I mean, all the years that I did tech support and customer service work, I mean, if you really care, I mean, you do sit up at night thinking about your customers that are still maybe struggling with something or something like that. And, so, I mean, once your heart's really into it, and I'm not kidding, this is...
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I know that this happens to you and it happens to Jerry. Jerry's called me up at midnight at times to talk about something, when he knows that I'm on the road or whatever. But he'll be concerned and worried over a customer, and that's and that, to be very honest, it's the way it should be,
Yeah.
But I don't know that a lot of customers realize, the concern, the actual deep concern that we have
super deep
for them, right?
Super deep.
Yeah. So
it's almost emotional. Almost emotional.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you one way to really aggravate us the most is think about it as a customer, that if you struggle with a problem and don't bother to tell us, that's the biggest frustrating thing. That's worse.
That's
You really
where,
need to tell us about it, because
Yeah.
we don't have an opportunity to fix anything if you don't tell us.
yeah.
If you go out on a forum and complain about it, then that's the first we see of it. That's not being very nice to us.
You got to
say
help
that.
me help you.
Right.
Help them, help
Yeah.
us,
Correct.
help you.
And I'm also helping a gentleman out that's having a mount issue with the Exos 2 GoTo. Just waiting for some more information on that. And he's seeing a wobble within the particular mount. And I asked him what he's using. He's using an 8-inch Newtonian on that particular mount. I was like,
This is not a PMC8 mount.
No,
This is the
not a
standard
PMC8 mount,
Right.
standard Exos 2 GT.
Okay.
He's not guiding with it, which I said, well, let's see what guiding will do, because the wobble with an 8-inch Newt on that particular mount, it's long focal length. You're going to see a little bit of a wobble unless you're balancing a certain way, east heavy, west heavy, whichever. So I'm waiting for him to give me some more information so I can compose it with Jerry so we can get some better answers for the gentleman. Other than that, YouTube's quiet, Facebook's quiet, Cloudy Nights is quiet. I don't know what's going on in the world. Everybody must just be sheltered in.
Let me read some chats here. This is some of the stuff that's going on. I shoot Astro. I hope to get next year an ED102 or a Levy Comet Hunter. I live in Bortle class 1.5 to 2 site. Okay.
But we do have FCD 100s in stock of 102s.
That's true.
We do.
While they last.
While they last.
Yeah. Hey, from Germany, my iExos 100 is perfect. Thanks.
Looky there.
Yeah. Richard Gray says, I love my Comet Hunter.
Richard's just smudged. He's like, look at this. Look at this one. Look at this one.
Richard needs sent me feedback after the Star Party, on the Twitch site. So there's something I got to do as far as an affiliate thing or something like that. So
Yeah.
I have to learn more from Richard. Let's see. CFox 0011. I'm very happy with my Exos 2 PMC8. Rock solid. People using different cameras and talking about different software, and we're seeing a Bayer pattern. It's interesting, the combinations of software, cameras, the little things that we got to work out to get the better result, Wes McDonald, can you comment on what RS scope is best for visual on the Exos 2? What
RS or ES scope? You may have meant ES scope.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
probably
capital R, lowercase s. Okay, maybe he's saying ES.
ES scope.
R, like refractor?
No, like hour.
Oh, hour.
ES
Okay.
scope.
All right. Don't mean to tease you, Wes. Okay. So, anyhow.
So he's got what mount again?
What telescope I think is best for visual on the Exos 2?
127.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah. It depends on what you want to look at.
He's got one. He bought mine.
Then a 102.
He's got the 127, but it's the old FCD one I had 10 years ago. He bought mine.
Visual for what though? Deep sky, I'm a deep sky guy. So if there is not enough aperture there, then I want more aperture. 5-inch telescope, I can see a lot of, if it's really dark, then I can do a lot, really. But if it's not very dark, guys, I have to have at least 8 inches of aperture.
What about one of our Newtonians?
Yeah, sure. Like the 203.
I've never used a newt. Never have.
Never have, huh?
Apparently I'm missing something.
Well, you mostly do astrophotography, right?
That's not to say that it can't be done with an 8-inch newt.
Well, it can absolutely be done. But, the view through a reflector versus a refractor, there is a difference.
Yeah.
And if you spend a lot of time on a refractor, you're going to get spoiled on how good those star images look.
Well, all right.
That's
You
right.
get spoiled, and you go, gosh, I'm used to seeing that teeny tiny airy disk in that refractor, that clean break of that first diffraction ring, And you get into a Newtonian, especially a fast Newtonian, it's got a big secondary, okay? Your contrast is going to take a bit of a dive. Now you can mitigate that with some magnification or some filters, or combinations thereof. But still, when you're going after the really faint stuff, there's nothing that replaces aperture. So I think the perfect combination for an astronomer is to have like maybe if you're into astrophotography, is just to build out an astrographic rig like this, and then have a big Dobsonian, and the bigger the better, if you like going after the deep stuff. If you are also someone that just visually you love to look at planets, again, it's going to be really, really tough to beat the refractor. They're so contrasty, so could be that you have like a really long focal length refractor for visual, light bucket Dobsonian for deep sky, and then you have your astrophotography rig. And if you have all three of those things out there running, and a pair of binoculars and a brandy, and your favorite soothing music or whatever, that makes for a very nice evening. So
there's actually another question too, Scott.
Okay.
Also, what is better from iShoot astrophotography only, the ED102 or the Comet Hunter? The weather in Alaska gets 20 or 48 degrees below in winter.
The cold is not.
No, cold's not going to be an issue.
That's not going to be an issue. Actually, it's going to help you.
Well, it would be an issue when you try to do adjustments. If you try to collimate, and the refractor is better in that regard. The less you have to fiddle with your instrument.
If you have to collimate,
you have to fiddle with your stuff.
That's no fun. Right? That's true.
Or if you got the money, just get a 20-inch Dob if you're doing visual, and you'll be set for life.
Now you used the 20-inch Dob on what you looked at Jupiter and Saturn with it, and Mars.
It was. Oh wow!
You liked it?
Yeah. I mean, now I want to see what a 25 or a 30.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I can't complain about that seeing at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see what a 36-inch looks like now.
Yeah. Well,
just for giggles.
You do get more resolution with more aperture too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. Oh yeah. Seaflock says, don't forget the lawn chair. Yes. So it's but Richard Grace also points it out, if you have to collimate a refractor, it's harder to do than a Newtonian. And that's also true.
I don't have a problem collimating a refractor. I don't have any problem.
If you do
that's
it
all
right,
you've ever used, though, Tyler.
Exactly.
If it's done right at the beginning, if the factory did it right and it's nice and tight, you should never really have to re-collimate your refractor unless you bang it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dusty Aston says 20-inch. If you start there, aperture fever will be even more expensive. It's true. It starts to get real expensive after 20 inches.
That's why they make star parties. You just go see who's got the bigger Dob.
The bigger Dob. That's right. That's right. Marco Polo says, I want a big Dob, but I need to be able to carry it solo. Yeah.
I can carry those solo.
Yeah, but they don't get you, Tyler. You don't come with the deal, I
mean, if they pay enough, they could.
They pay enough. That's right.
Just the personal carriage of the Dobs.
I'm going to put out a new price list. It's going to include Tyler comes with it. Okay. So let's see. Beatrice says, Scott, drinking brandy while observing will give you double stars all the way. Well, Beatrice, I wonder about something, because they say that a lot of astronomers say that most star systems are multiple star systems. Is it because they all drink brandy? I don't know. Maybe. So, but look, the way I look at that stuff, everything comes from the universe. So, you're drinking this stuff of celestial dust or something. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that that kind of wraps that up. And so, Jerry, what's been going on? What's your take on today? What's been happening today?
I've been just trying to catch up on projects that I'm doing. I'm working multiple things all the time, and I get a little frustrated because I can never really finish what I want day to day. You know, I have to continue to work on stuff. I guess maybe I set my expectations too high, what I can accomplish during the day, and I never seem to do it, you know?
Right.
But that's just my daily routine. I mean, I handle things as they come up. And I'm continuing to work. I get, I've been working with Wes lately
Right.
on some update. I'm going to be announcing some changes soon that we're going to post with the PMC8. I don't want to get into details now, but Wes and I have been working on a few good things that people have been asking for a while. And I think I mentioned it yesterday or the other day about making it easier for the customer. Uh, so my goal is to make it easier. Wes just texted me. So yeah, so new and exciting stuff is coming along that
You
we'll
don't
be
sound
talking
very
about.
excited.
Well, well, I am. I'm glad that we're able to get this done because it's always fun to get things that that were on the list off the list now, and then make it easier for our customers and getting our customers to appreciate even more the PMC8 system.
It'd make it
You
easy for
know,
them to make it easy for me.
right, exactly. To make it as easy as we can for all of us to be able to improve and progress and go to the next thing. I always did in my career, this is the way I approached my career. I learned something, learned all about it, worked on it for a while, and then I was ready to teach somebody else the system so that I could move on. You know, I didn't want to be stuck and pigeonholed in doing one thing. I wanted to be able to show other people how to do stuff and get them up to speed on it, and then I could move on to something new. That was my selfish goal. So, that's kind of the way it is with this. I want to move on from just dealing with the existing problems. We can fix things and make things work right and improve things for people and get, and then we can do that and move on to new stuff.
Scott, you
Well, the
priced
new
that
stuff.
very high. It's
Well, I had to include your salary and then your lifestyle. Okay, so
I could live in a tent.
could you? Would you?
Okay, just make sure you feed me every once in a while,
Yeah.
8 times a day.
Let's say that the astronomers like in Ohio and it's wintertime. You good for a tent?
It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll come up with a discount price for you, Dusty. So, uh,
I did find the post.
Stefan said, "Oh my God, I did read that price correct. About 130K AUD." There are guys that actually make a living being, operating rich guys observatories. Because you need someone there, as Bob Denny pointed out. You do not have. There's no such thing as remote observatories without somebody being there.
That's right.
So, but anyhow, um,
Yeah, I equated that to, look at the hundreds of millions of dollars that are spent on satellites that you can absolutely not get to.
all right.
That's the same thing on Earth. Let's say you put a system up on top of a mountain and you don't expect anybody to have to go to it. That's expensive. And it
Yeah.
would never work. I mean, unless you spend millions of dollars, at least you're not going to be able to do that. Just on
And
a
how
small
do you
telescope
protect it
system.
from vandalism and stuff?
There's a lot of things, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
it's a ground-based satellite is the way I term it,
Right.
and you
That's
have to
true.
be able to visit it every once in a while.
At least you can visit it. Okay.
Well, it's a ground-based Hubble Space Telescope. Think about
Right.
it that way.
There you go. There you go. Without the optical problem. So, well, cool. Well, we have a couple of things happening. Tonight, I'm going to be on a show called Astroworld Live with Dan Higgins. And so we're going to go over, he's got, he wants to talk to me about my experiences and stuff. Dan is a great show host, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So you'll just look for Astroworld Live. I guess I should probably look at where it's going to broadcast from. Let's see
Facebook, YouTube. I don't know if they do Twitch.
Let's see.
Broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
No. He's in the East. I think he's in New Jersey.
Broadcasting from cloudy
There we go.
Springdale, Arkansas.
Here we go.
It's not cloudy here, Jerry.
Asterworld posts. Yeah, this has got to be it. It's a Facebook page. Maybe yeah, that's him. I love this guy. There we go.
I can't wait for y'all's show. That dude's he's a comedian.
He is funny.
Hilarious.
He was on, he did a bunch of shows for Camera Concepts during the Northeast Astronomy Forum. And I know because of him, Camera Concepts sold telescopes that day like crazy, okay? He must have done a dozen different shows or segments during the NEAF program. So it was
every show had his commercial on
work with him.
Yeah.
Dusty says that sounds like an invite to tune in for a heckle Scott for the night. Hey man, bring it on! Come on. It's no problem for me. No problem. So, and then on Friday at 4 o'clock, we are going to have a European edition Global Star Party. So that's happening. And then just want to remind everybody that November 7th, we are going to have an Asian edition of the Global Star Party. So that is going to happen. It'll be broadcast live in the morning of November 7th because it will be nighttime over there. So that's, we're about 12 hours difference. That will be done with Christopher Go, who is world famous, planetary astrophotographer. So I'm real excited about that. I think we're going to have astronomers possibly from China all the way down to Australia. So that will be really interesting, and having some new people involved like that. So, and I think that's all I have to say, except that tonight is the peak of the Orionids. So, and I'm reading this Astronomical League calendar, which Peggy Walker sent over to me, and thank you very much, Peggy. It also says in 1845 that John C. Adams calculates Neptune. I guess perhaps the orbit of Neptune. It says, but George Airy did not verify his work. So I wonder what the backstory of that is. So, scientists infighting.
Yeah, that's right. I got one other thing. What episode is this?
This is number 94.
All right, so in 6 days, it's going to be 100.
What prizes are we giving away?
We were going to give away Tyler Bowman, along with the 20.
Now, if you're willing to, I don't care.
I'm just going to keep you with a sleeping bag and a tent.
I have my own casualty bag that my dad got from.
I've got a first aid kit and some Band-Aids. That yourself. No. Marco Polo says 100-degree eyepiece. Maybe so. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Maybe.
100 show, 100-degree eyepiece. All right.
Questions got to be pretty hard.
If we get close, we'll figure that out. All right. But it's been a while since we've given a big door prize out. So, other than that, I am zombified today. So, and I got another show to do tonight. So for any of you that want to watch Astroworld on Facebook and heckle me, I'm very happy to be heckled. So, and I think that's all we have for today. Is there anything else, guys? Nope.
Oh, oh.
James the astrophotographer says, Scott, you got to get Tyler one of those observatory tents so you can show it as a video. He's got one right here.
I'm still waiting.
Shoot a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get on it. Jerry.
Get on the stick, man. That's right. Get your pop tent out there and then set it up next to the observatory tent.
All right, your scope versus my scope. How about that?
Okay.
How about that?
How about that? Yeah.
How about
Pup
that?
tent. Yeah, that's good. A pup tent.
Pop tent. That's right.
You can go sleep in Barbara Jane. I'll sleep in my
I can
tent.
see Tyler's head and then his feet sticking out on either side of his pup tent.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
Right?
Out of his rickety old cot.
What?
For nothing.
That's right. That's right. Well, cool. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Tyler and Jerry, for chiming in. And we will be on with you tomorrow for the 95th show. So that's really cool. And so we don't have these shows on the weekend though. We don't do Saturday and Sunday. So it's not 6 days away. So it's going to be a little bit longer than that, but that's just a technicality. Well, okay. So we will see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll see some of you guys tonight on Asterworld with Dan Higgins.
Of course.
Take care. Yes. Uh-oh, got 2 pins going on here. And there we are. And here we go.